Hello Pisces, welcome to your October 2022 tarot card and astrology reading. Before we get into the reading, I have a very quick message for you, so stay tuned. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jane. I am so thrilled to have you here. For the October readings this month, I've done something just a little bit different. So I'm starting to include a new astrology portion to this reading. I feel like that could add so much more value to each and every one of you as you navigate and try to understand how all of this is going down. October is a huge month astrologically. We have a lot of the outer planets starting to move, and we are building up to an eclipse on the 25th. So there's just a lot to really think about and consider. So the timestamp for both the tarot portion and the astrology portion will be found in the description box down below. And this is one of the reasons why I've separated the big monthly video into 12 separate videos instead of just one big long video. And as always, if you are a subscriber, please be sure to log into your account at janeinternational.com, navigate to the blog page, and you'll see all the comprehensives that you've signed up for available there. All right, now with all that being said, let's get into it. Hello Pisces, welcome to your October 2022 tarot card reading. Thank you all so much for being here. So we are going to get started with the Page of Wands, which is the card that signifies what the universe needs from you this month. Now, the Page of Wands is a beautifully optimistic card, okay? But he can only take things day by day, okay? He's still a page, he's still learning, he's adventuring, he's exploring. And while he may continually push himself out of his comfort zone and continue to explore new and unexplored terrain, he is still only able to take things one step at a time. It is going to be helpful, Pisces, for you to have some kind of a vision, like a long-term vision. 10 years from now, 20 years from now, in terms of like really where you see yourself. Where do you see yourself financially, romantically, in terms of lifestyle and where you live? Where do you see yourself in terms of the contribution that you are making to the world? And I want you to really think about what needs to be done today that aligns. Now, I know that things will change, okay? I'm not saying that everything is going to be static. I'm not saying that your plan is going to go 100% according to plan, but sometimes that's helpful to give us a feeling or a sense of direction, so we're not just wandering around aimlessly. Because when we have a fire energy here, right, the wands represent the fire element, I often think of, well, let's just take the two fire signs specifically, okay? We have Aries and we have Sagittarius. Aries being ruled by Mars, where the little symbol looks like an arrow. And then we have Sagittarius, where the symbol of Sagittarius looks like an arrow. Okay, fire signs are very direct. Fire energy is very direct. And we need to have that target. And so setting a target and continually doing things day by day in order to get there is going to be highly advantageous for you. Because right now, Libra season, and in the environment position, we have the Death card, and Libra season does activate your 8th house. 8th house is, when we say death, it's more like a death of an identity, death of an ego. It's a death of a way of being or a way that you thought it was going to be. And being in Libra, there is likely to be some external influence, and by that I mean person, because Libra has a lot to do with balancing out two people or two sides of the scale, obviously, right? That's the symbol of Libra. And so we have to think a little bit more than just ourselves. And so when we have this vision and this mission, we have to align with people that align with that. And if we are still entertaining people that are not going in the same direction that we are, it is likely that over the course of the next 2 months, as we have the whole of Libra season and then we make our way through Scorpio season where we're going to have eclipses, it's going to be really hard to keep those old things going. And you right now especially are preparing for Saturn to come into your sign next March, right? Next Aries season, Saturn comes into your sign, and you're going to have to start to reestablish an entirely new structure of your life. So letting go of the outdated, outmoded way of things is essential. And to do that consciously is going to be important, because if not, it can get messy and it can hurt people. So going into conversations, let's get started with a 10-card block. Okay, we have the Two of Cups, which is kind of a union of two people. This is a great card for Libra season, but the reversal of it suggests that you may have to agree to disagree. It suggests that you may have to offer love and compassion to another person, but still go your own separate way. Or this may mean that you have some kind of a revelation or a deep-hearted, meaningful conversation and come to the realization that this person is maybe a little too different from you. Or this group of people, maybe it's not just a single person, maybe it's a group of people. This job, it's just too different. It's not aligned, and it's not allowing you to really embrace this new venture that you truly want to go on. Now, Pisces may still be teeter-tottering between the old and the new. The death process is not fast. It does not happen overnight unless like Uranus or Mars is involved. And right now, they'll be involved with the full moon eclipse in Taurus on November 8th. But right now, there is no Uranian influence really involved with stuff. All right, so we're just kind of in this place of allowing the transition to happen, but we have to do our part to tie up the loose ends so that we can be free. And I think freedom is a big component for Pisces right now. But there are things and there are reasons why you may feel not free. It's hard when we get an Ace of Wands come into our life. Now, this could be a lot of different things. It can come through in different ways, such as a phone call or a job opportunity, an opportunity to travel. It could be a new business idea or a new desire that kind of stirs up in your heart that wants you to start to do new types of things. So however it comes into your life or comes into your being, doesn't necessarily mean that you can act on it right away. The opportunity to act on it requires you to walk away from something. Now, 8th house, right? Sun and Venus both. Now, the Sun and Venus are going to be basically in a conjunction the whole month. And Venus will slowly be gaining on the Sun. And so kind of the bonds and the agreements and the contracts and the promises, they may feel burdensome right now. And you may feel hindered by the promises that you previously made. And you may be trying to find a way to get out of those things. And as we make our way into the full moon in Aries, which will be conjunct Chiron in your second house, there's that kind of pull or that tug to step into your value as much as you can and to go about doing something on your own and being highly self-sufficient. There is I want to do it on my own versus I want to do it with someone else kind of conflict. And you may want both, but you don't want each to interfere with the other. But right now I sense that you're feeling compelled to walk away from something with that 8 of Cups, but maybe you can't right now because the devil is here and it says, well, there are still obligations that you need to fulfill. There are still things that you said you were going to do. Now, those things that you said you were going to do, maybe other people are depending on you, or maybe this is a question of self-respect and you fulfilling and doing the things that you said you were going to do because you said you were going to do them. But I also know here comes that Ace of Wands of something new and shiny and exciting. And it's like, well, I would rather not finish this thing, but rather go toward this thing. But you can't. The universe won't let you. The stars aren't letting you. Okay. Saturn is starting to slow way, way, way down. Mars is slowing way, way, way down. And things will start moving near the end of the month when Saturn goes direct. Okay, Saturn goes direct on the 23rd, which is the same day that Venus and Sun conjunction, they both move into Scorpio. And then 2 days later, we have the new moon solar eclipse at 2 degrees of Scorpio. Okay, so I think near the end of the month, that's when we're going to start to really see a new push of things, right? Because we're going to have that Mars rulership of Scorpio. But right now, like with Mars basically hardly moving and Saturn hardly moving, trying to go direct, it's going to feel like pulling teeth. But if you can sit down and concentrate and tie up the loose ends and fulfill your obligations and fulfill your promises and do the things that you said you were going to do, then you will find that release. And I look at this Judgment card and I see like the light at the end of the tunnel kind of thing. Like there's so much hope. There's so much hope. There's so much promise. There is so much excitement and optimism for the new venture, whatever that may be. And you'll be glad that you don't have the old things and the old promises sort of looming over your head. Like you don't have people knocking on your door and be like, hey, Pisces, well, you said you were going to do this. And hey, Pisces, what about that? And we got to do this and we got to finish this. Knock, 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 calling on your phone. You'll be so glad you didn't put yourself in that position. So you embrace this moment of transition by both accepting your Ace of Wands, but also finishing things out, putting things to bed, as we see with this Death card. I do think you're going to see a lot of closure and beginning this month. It's like both, balance of both. Lovely Libra season. And you'll have this peace of mind. This peace of mind, I would say, at any cost, do it. Anything that you can do to bring yourself peace of mind is 100% worth it, because it is from this place of peace of mind that you are going to be able to put one step in front of the other. Because if you still have something looming over you, or you still have contractual obligations or promises that you said you were going to do something, you may feel guilty taking new steps. And you don't want to move into your new direction with guilt or shame. You don't want to be hiding away from people. You want to be able to like show your face and be proud. So that's why cleaning things up and closing all the doors is essential for the success of this new whatever. And that's going to become even that much more relevant as Saturn goes direct and approaches Pisces and enters Pisces next March. Okay? Now with the Five of Cups in this, I was going to say in the reverse. Obviously it's not reversed, but with the Five of Cups here, there is something emotional that needs to be released as well. And I feel that this full moon in Aries is going to do the trick. That may be a challenging full moon. Chiron is not an easy, well, he's not a planet. I call him a planet, but he's not a planet. He's like an asteroid, but he's not an easy, entity. He does bring out a lot of pain and suffering. Yes, it is for the sake of healing. But he certainly knows how to expose things. He knows how to expose us, our vulnerabilities, our weaknesses. He knows how to expose our own mechanisms of self-sabotage, and it's easy for us to see how we are contributing to our own situations. So there is no confusion right now. I don't think Pisces is confused about anything. I think you know exactly what's hindering you, right? You know exactly the reason why you may be wanting to jump into the next thing without finishing this other thing first. For some reason, I feel like the finishing of one thing, putting something to bed, it feels like a loss of self. There is a loss of identity, right? Sun through the 8th house. You're losing a layer of inauthenticity, right? We all go through that. I'm not saying you are an inauthentic person. I'm just saying that you're stripping yourself away and becoming even more real and even more of who you are. But in so doing, you're losing a layer of who you thought you were. And so coming into this new skin can feel vulnerable, and there can be a lot of exposure. And that's not always the most fun. But I think it's inevitable. So if you do experience some deep emotion on October, I'd say 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. Okay, these days we've got Pluto going direct on the 8th. We have the full moon in Aries on the 9th. We have Mercury coming into your 8th house on the 10th, and then on the 11th and the 7th, we kind of have the build up to that. All right. So, if you are feeling during those days, just you can feel that emotion, and that's okay. You can let this process happen, but don't let it prevent you from still closing out the doors or closing out the projects or whatever. Because the universe is trying to give you something incredible. I feel like this Ace of Wands is a beautiful gift. I feel that something is coming back. And this may have to do with Jupiter coming into Pisces, revisiting something that happened earlier in the year or maybe late last year, where there was a lot of Piscean energy, where there was a lot of hope and optimism, and there was a lot of high-level consciousness and magic and manifestation, all that kind of stuff. And then things started to get more real as we kind of made our way through Aries, Taurus, Gemini, things started to get more real. We started to be more actionable. But now there's something returning. Something is resurfacing for the sake of probably keeping you going. It's the motivation behind the Page of Wands. You're going to need that motivation to continue to put one foot in front of the other. And you may be reminded of like that idyllic world that you created for yourself earlier in the year. And actually, it may be getting even bigger, your idyllic world. I think it was in the Libra reading that I did. I don't remember exactly which reading, but there was this notion, and I called it the castle in the sky. And I kind of like that symbolism because it can represent anything. But the castle in the sky is like that seemingly unattainable dream life, or that seemingly unattainable whatever that sometimes we don't allow ourselves to dream of. Even Pisces, right? And I know you're kind of like the sign that rules the imagination and the dreams, but you can be very realistic too. You still have that Virgo opposition going on there, right? So you can be very realistic. And sometimes that limits you and it keeps you in a state of less when your soul wants you to be in a state of more. But now I think you're letting yourself dream of more. You're dreaming of having all of these wishes being fulfilled, and you're not being afraid to ask for the big wishes. It's not like, oh, I wish that I could pay my bills next month. It's like, I wish that I could have a lifestyle where I never have to think about money ever again. Right? I wish that I could have a lifestyle where I could travel the world and never have to work. I wish that I could have the love of my life come in and, we can just go be happy together, right? Whatever the big dream for you is, I think you're like really absorbing it now. And you're always on the more optimistic side, right? You and Sag with your Jupiter rulerships, you tend to be more optimistic with everything you do, but still sometimes, it's that good reminder to go bigger. It's that good reminder to continue to push and to continue to expand even beyond your own perception of reality. But that may still be distracting from the stuff that still needs to get done. I feel like there's this old business. I don't know what it is. This old lingering business that's still like a thorn in your paw kind of thing. And I'm telling you, just get it done. Get it done. Just do it. You will be so happy. I'm telling you, that is a small price to pay for the peace of mind that it will bring. So don't scrimp on those obligations that you've set, even if they're just for yourself. But if it's with someone else, especially, don't scrimp. Like, you got to show up for that. You got to do it, because then that door is freaking wide open for you to be able to embrace this dream. Sorry, I thought I heard something. To embrace this dream and to be able to act in that direction, to take action towards. With the Two of Coins, I feel that there's that transition between the old and the new, and it will be a continued theme as Saturn finishes out its transit in your 12th house. But the contrast is becoming more obvious. I feel like the old and the new up to this point this year has been very blended. It's like you knew that there was something new, but you were still entrenched in the old. But now that the separation is really happening, and that will become even more apparent with eclipses throughout Scorpio season and on into November. It's just, we got to that point. That's it. We got to that point where the contrast became clear enough. It's like if you had two squares and they were both an equal gray, right? And then with your computer or whatever, all of a sudden this one was supposed to go toward white and this one was supposed to go toward black. Well, like, there comes a point, if you start kind of bringing up and down the tones of these colors, where eventually your eyes are really going to start to see the light and dark difference. That contrast becomes clear enough to indicate that these two squares are in fact separating and going in their own directions. This one's becoming white, this one's becoming black, right? They're moving out of that gray space and more toward the deeper saturated color, okay? So you're seeing that separation for sure. We all are, but I think you especially with the 8th house transit. So I think acknowledging that is going to be important, and honoring and respecting that. Because when you respect that, you are more likely to untether yourself, because you don't want to keep that entanglement any longer than you really want to. And I think it does have something to do with you have going on with someone else. Okay? All right. We are going to pull out the clarifiers for the comprehensive. Now, for those of you who are new, please bear with me. I'm going to say a lot of things, okay? So the cards I'm about to pull out are the cards we will cover in the comprehensive reading. The link for that will be found in the description box and comment thread down below. We usually talk for another 25 to 30 minutes about these cards, okay? There are multiple options. You can just do a single one-off purchase, and that's perfectly fine. A lot of people have been subscribing, so you can subscribe to a single sign, or you can subscribe to get all 12 zodiac comprehensive readings. And you can also subscribe to be a soul seeker, which will automatically get all 12. And there's a whole bunch of extra, more exclusive content on there. We just started a new educational series back in September. So feel free to join me on that. There are a lot of different options, so check it out. All the information in the description box and the comment thread down below. Okay? Alrighty, so let's go ahead and take a look here at the Page of Wands. What else does Pisces need to know regarding this Page of Wands? So we have the 7 of Coins. Beautiful, another page. I'm really liking the page energy. Ooh, like that as well. Now for the environment. What else does Pisces need to know for the environment? King of Coins. 9 of Coins. And 7 of Wands. Okay. So let's take a look here at the 2 of Cups. What else does Pisces need to know about this 2 of Cups? 5 of Wands. Yeah, I don't know that things are necessarily gonna go smooth. Okay, I normally don't take that many cards, but that's fine. We'll take them since they all showed up for us. Beautiful. That Ace of Wands is not an accident. You know, it's a creation. You created it. It's the creation of what happened. It's a creation of what happened back in the beginning of the year. Oh, another Ace of Wands reversed. Okay, Eight of Cups. Strength. Knight of Swords and Nine of Swords. Okay, yeah. Like, I feel like this is annoying. You know, like there are annoying things. Like you're going to be frustrated with the fact that you have to deal with it, or the fact that you have to finish it, or the fact that you can't quite walk away yet. Yeah, it is annoying. That's why it's like, just do it. Just fulfill it. Do the things you said you were going to do. Bite the bullet, clean it up, tie up the loose ends, because you do not want it hanging over your head as we make our way through Sagittarius, Capricorn, and Aquarius seasons. This is the time to do the dirty work, okay? Four of Swords, love that. Oh, another Devil reversed. Okay. Oh, another Two of Coins. Okay, let's do one more card for that since we got a couple repeats there. Okay, Seven of Coins reversed. Three of Coins. Page of Cups reversed. And Five of Swords. Temperance. I love the Zen factor coming out there. Ten of Swords reversed. I like the reversal. It's like you can breathe again. Three of Wands. Eight of Coins reversed. Six of Coins. Page of Coins. Really liking all the pages. Two of Swords, Ten of Coins reversed. Interesting to get the Ten of Coins and the King of Coins reversed here. Seven of Swords. Another King of Cups, that's clearly your energy. Four of Wands. Another reversal on the Ace. Okay, Ace of Swords is good. Eight of Wands, beautiful. And Hierophant reversed. Okay, so this is where we're going to pick up in the comprehensive. So if you want to join, again, all that information found in the description box and the comment thread down below. Thank you all so much. You know how much I love and adore you. Please stick around for the astrology portion as well, so you can kind of get a visual on what's happening astrologically. All right, thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye. Hello Pisces, welcome to the astrological portion of this reading. Now, as I stated before, this is the first time that I'm doing this in the monthly readings as just sort of an added bonus for visualization purposes. I know that I talk about the stars a lot throughout the card reading, but I think a lot of people find it helpful to have a visual of like, well, where are these planets really? How are they all in relation to one another? And what is really happening? Okay. So let's take a look here. I think one of the more notable transits for you later on in October, October 28th, we have Jupiter coming into Pisces again. It's retrograding back into Pisces. This, I suspect, is going to it's going to be a little reminiscent of earlier this year, earlier in 2022. With the dreaming and the imagination and the super high consciousness, a lot of the optimism, the belief that something is possible. And it does seem like the things that earlier this year that seemed so far-fetched now are coming into that realm of possibility, that it can actually become your life. if that's what you truly want and you want to truly continue to work for and towards. Pisces is so great for offering that boost of belief, right? That's the motto of Pisces, I believe. So it offers us that extra boost. And belief, although it is not required for manifestation, it certainly does make it a lot easier. Okay. Now that's not happening until the 28th of October. So that's like a ways down the road. Before that, we do have, first of all, Venus is going to be coming into Libra on the 29th of September. So here we are, October 1st. Venus is already coming in contact with the sun. Now, all through October, we are having this Venus-Sun conjunction, and they don't really come into conjunction until October 23rd, when Sun and Venus exactly together come into Scorpio, and then 2 days later, we have an eclipse, a new moon eclipse in Scorpio. So I think with the activation of your 8th house with Venus and the Sun, and later on, Mercury will join in Libra as well, there is a lot of internal navigation going on. And in terms of the things that you are obliged to, whether it's a financial obligation or a romantic obligation or any kind of contract or agreement or business, anything that you are tied to, I feel that there may be some reevaluation of that particular situation in your life. And when I say a reevaluation, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be able to get out of anything. It's just that it may take some work to readjust. Libra is all about adjustment and finding balance with things. So if something has gotten a little too heavy or overweighted in one area, this is the time where we find the thing to counterbalance that. And if you have an obligation in your life that is too much or requiring too much, or if you are dedicating too much time to something that is an old pattern or an old way of life, this is likely the time where Pisces is going to throw up their hands and say, okay, something has to change. We cannot keep this. We cannot continue with this particular motion. We have to alter and create some level of reform in our life here. All right. So Libra, 8th house, it's like I actually think Pisces handles the deep stuff very well. You are a water sign after all, and you are considered to be one of the more karmic signs alongside Scorpio and Virgo. There's a little bit more karma that comes through, and so you handle the changes more, I don't want to say easily. I'm not saying you don't feel stuff, but you can navigate through those things a little bit easier than most. You don't fight so hard against yourself, okay? You're more willing to go with the flow and willing to adapt the changes. That's one of the beautiful things about being a mutable sign, is your fluidity and adaptability. Now we are making our way into a Pluto moving direct. Did I mention this already? I feel like I talked about this already. Pluto is moving direct on October 8th. Okay. October 8th is kind of like the beginning of Pluto's last haul through Capricorn. Now he will retrograde back into Capricorn in 2023, and then he'll go back into Aquarius in 2024. So I'm not saying he's done with Aquarius. He's not done. With Capricorn. He's not done, but this is his final stretch. And between now and March of next year, I think that the feeling, just the internal feeling that a massive chapter in your life is done. You're not going to be able to beat that, okay? Pluto is moving into your 12th house. 12th house is a very powerful house. There's a lot of surrender and loss that happens here, which means that a lot of the things that maybe you've been really trying to hang on to the past couple of years, you've been trying to keep intact. I think over the next 6 months to a year, they are going to start to fall away. So if you, let's say, for example, you have a business partnership that just really is not, it's just like it's barely hanging on by a thread. Likely within the next 6 months to a year, that situation will officially be gone and done. okay? And you'll be moving on. A marriage, same thing. Any kind of a career path, any kind of a pattern that you have established over the past 30 years since Saturn was last in Aquarius, right? 28, 29, 30 years. That is going by the wayside. You are changing. Everyone is changing, but I think you especially, because Saturn is now coming into your first house next March as well. Saturn is also going direct on the 23rd. By the way, Saturn goes direct on the 23rd, the same day that the Sun and Venus come into Scorpio. So three big transitions happening on the 23rd. 2 days later, on the 25th, we have the new moon eclipse in Scorpio in the 9th house. This is going to be a powerful moon. Now, Libra moon is also very powerful. I actually think Scorpio and Libra, Scorpio right now because it's eclipses, okay? These are like, this is a potent time, all right? And I'm going to do a video on manifesting during eclipses because a lot of people are like, no, don't do it. It's bad. It's so evil. Like, and I'm like, no, I don't think so. Like I've been using eclipses for the past couple of years since I've been learning about it, studying, practicing, and I've found them to be incredibly, like they actually accelerate the manifestations, but they do it in a more destructive way. So you have to be willing to go through the destruction, and especially because this is scorpionic, you have to be willing to go through the destruction. But if you are willing to go through the destruction, your manifestations can come through so quickly. The change can happen so quickly. You just have to be willing to bear the load a little bit, okay? So it's your choice. You don't have to use those energies in any capacity. You'll be fine. If you do choose, you have to be prepared for a little bit of a bumpy ride, but it will also accelerate, but also it's best for like long-term manifestations. Again, I'm going to do a whole video on it and explain it more in detail. I'm just preparing you, all right, that new moon is coming, and that new moon eclipse in Scorpio, and then the full moon eclipse, which is happening on November 8th, is happening conjunct Uranus. Yet again, another Uranian and influenced eclipse. All right, Uranus has been involved with this whole eclipse cycle since the nodes came into Scorpio and Taurus. So the changes are quite radical. And you are going through radical change now because Pluto is going direct, Saturn is going direct. And when Saturn enters your sign, enters Pisces in 2023, in March of 23, the same time that Pluto comes into Aquarius, there's just like this whole new chapter on deck. It's just the shift is so potent. Now it's gradual, but it is potent nonetheless. And I said, and I'm going to continue to say over and over and over and over again, that full moon in July of this year, so a few months ago, conjunct Pluto was a point of no return. And I think this is becoming more and more apparent for us. We can't go back to who we were at the beginning of the year, right? We can't return back to those old relationships. We can't return back to those old career paths. We can't use our fallbacks, right? Because we ourselves value ourselves too greatly to do that. And because this new moon eclipse is happening in your 9th house, this is pretty much a demand for expansion for Pisces. Pisces is being asked. It's not an ask, it's a requirement. Pisces is required to expand their life in some capacity. For some, it may be spiritual expansion, 9th house. For others, it may be expansion in terms of your experience with the world. It may be material expansion. It may be having a child. It may be getting married, all right? A lot of both spiritual and material things come through in the 9th house. And because this Jupiter going back into Pisces at the end of the month, because this is happening, there is this element of belief that you can have that, belief you can experience it, belief that you can structure your life around it. Because maybe Pisces with Saturn in the 12th house for the past couple of years hasn't really felt like their life was very well put together. Maybe they haven't felt like they've had stability or they've had something strong in their life. And so as Saturn makes its way into Pisces, and I will do another video on this on my main channel regarding Pluto's transition and Saturn's transitions, which are happening at the same time. This is an opportunity for Pisces to construct a new structure for themselves, because the old one is falling apart. And I think that if you were to look at a certain area of your life, you'd be like, there's no doubt. There's no doubt this structure in my life is crumbling. Because the 12th house is about loss and suffering. There's isolation here. There's a lot of sacrifice that's needing to be made. It's that reminder that everything is impermanent. That's really what the 12th house is. It's to remind you that everything is impermanent. Nothing is here to stay forever. Nothing. And so we need that extra boost of belief, because this can be quite despairing sometimes, because we feel like we're completely losing ourselves and and life itself has pulled the rug out from under us. And so Jupiter comes along and says, don't worry, just believe and have faith and keep your head up and keep going and keep falling in love with life and keep experiencing the beauty. And especially with Libra season, beauty is a huge theme. The beauty of life, the beauty of contrast, the beauty of your power to perceive things in a way that you choose that is helpful, the beauty of nature, the beauty of art, the beauty of music, the beauty of talent and creativity. It's all compact in here to help you to reconstruct this new life that you are destined for. Okay? And at the very end of the month, on the 30th, Mars is going to be going retrograde. Now, for the whole of October, okay, October 1st through October 30th, Mars is only moving 5 degrees, okay? He's moving really, really, really slow all month. Now, when he came into Gemini, it was like go, 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 go. There was so much activity. And as October progresses, right, even Saturn is slowing down with his retrogrades. Pluto right now is basically not moving, and it's going to take him a while to start gaining speed going direct. So Pluto and Saturn and Mars moving really slow, and they're pacing us. And this has been a theme that has emerged throughout the October readings, is that we are being paced. And we're not going to be able to do things as quickly as we were doing through Virgo season. It's not Virgo season anymore. We don't have as much mercurial energy anymore. We still have some, and Mercury is actually quite strong as we begin October, right? Because Mercury is in rulership. But once he starts going direct and he enters into Venus-ruled Libra in the 8th house, this mercurial energy is going to be more dedicated toward, maybe not necessarily toward our personal goals, but toward goals that we are trying to achieve with other people, right? There's a quality of shared resources and shared energy that comes through here. So it's not just all about you, but with the sun, you are trying to still maintain that sense of identity and autonomy. So it's about balancing yourself and your needs and your desires and ambitions, but alongside of someone else. But the mercurial energy is going to kind of subside a little bit, although Mercury is not entirely weak here in Libra. He's not super strong, but he's not weak here either. So he's just kind of doing his thing, and he will help facilitate exchange in some way, shape, or form. So whether it's romantic exchange, monetary exchange, energetic exchange, and communication, and helping to resolve any issues that arose during his retrograde, things will start to flow, but they are not going to flow quickly, right? With Mars in Gemini in retro, or preparing for retrograde. Mars is ensuring that we are being more precise and more strategic with our actions. We are being more intentional and purposeful. We are not just doing things for the sake of doing them. We are doing them for the sake of our greater vision, which is established during this Jupiter going back into Pisces. This had already been established at the beginning of the year, chances are something is going to resurface for you and you're going to say, you know what? Yes, that's really what I want. And you may have been wavering all year of like, well, I don't know. It may seem too far out of reach. Let me be more realistic, yada, 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 yada. And now you're like, I don't want to be realistic. I want to be really optimistic. Now, the full moon that we're having on the 9th, okay, here's the moon on the 1st. It's going to be making its way over here to Aries, and it's going to be having a moon conjunct Chiron. All right. And this moon conjunct Chiron in the second house absolutely has to do with your sense of self-worth. And if for whatever reason you are lacking in the materialistic comforts that you seek or the lifestyle that you desire, whatever that lifestyle is, this is a time where certain wounds are absolutely illuminated for the sake of elimination. Okay, we get to eliminate through healing the things that have been keeping us back from having and experiencing the things that we want to have and experience. And there's no doubt that there have been limitations, the things that we have set forth. Because yes, we had all the Pisces energy this year. Beginning of the year, there were so many planets going through Pisces, and that really like started to open the gate. But we still had Saturn in Aquarius. So there were still boundaries. There were still limitations on that stuff. That's starting to turn. Next year, when Saturn comes into Pisces, it's like, I don't know, I can't see us limiting ourselves nearly as much as we have since 2018. 2018, 2019, 2020, 21, 22, as Saturn has been making his way through Capricorn and Aquarius, both ruled by Saturn, and both kind of tied as much as futuristic as Aquarius can be. It is, right? Because it's got that Uranian rulership as well. It can be super futuristic and really push the boundaries and break the rules, but it still has a Saturnian rulership. So it can only evolve as much as evolution is allowed based on the people, based on the technology, based on the knowledge. It can't bust wide open. It can only do that in Pisces. Pisces is the only place where things have no bounds. Okay? So yes, I know you've been still feeling quite restricted, but when Saturn comes into Pisces, that cannot sustain. You are not going to be able to limit yourself even if you tried. Okay? Now, yes, Saturn can have a sobering effect. So I'm not saying that that's going to happen as soon as it enters into Pisces, but it is going to, it's going to begin. And it kind of already began at the beginning of this year with just like dreaming about stuff. And it can take time for that stuff to percolate, right? It has to kind of gestate. It has to grow. So the things that you've been thinking about this year and the things that you're going to be revisiting when Jupiter re-enters into Pisces, it's going to continue to grow and grow and grow and become more and more prominent over the next few years with Saturn through your sign. And it's going to become prioritized slowly but surely. And you are going to find a way, because that is what Pisces does. Pisces finds a way. It's like a river. It's not going to try to sit there and try to pummel through the boulders. It's just simply going to go around them, right? It's a path of least resistance. So you will find a way to accomplish your goals and to achieve the things that you hope to achieve. And it begins, I think, now with a lot of the changes that you are implementing, especially with these eclipse cycles that we've had through Taurus and Scorpio, okay? And healing the pain with this full moon in Chiron is so important, because when we heal the pain, we become whole and we become more fearless, because we realize there's really nothing to be afraid of. Okay? So it's a big month for Pisces. It's a big month for everybody. But I'm going to leave you with that. All right. Thank you so much. Let me know how you felt about this astrology portion. If you enjoyed it, I don't know if I'll keep doing it. I just kind of want to know your thoughts and feelings on it, if it was helpful for you at all. I thought I'd just give it a go. All right. Thank you so much. Have a great month, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.